Hey everybody, welcome to the Sharp Tongue Podcast. I'm your girl, Jessimae Peluso. I am coming to you from Raleigh, North Carolina. Well, it's one of those places where you're not really in Raleigh. Everyone has told me that you're actually in Cary, and then other people go, well, you're actually in Morrisville. And to that I say, those all sound like places that are the center of Netflix's latest documentary about whatever woman got murdered and shoved into a shed for 30 years. Why doesn't anyone ever check the shed? There's always someone in the shed, isn't there? Every freaking documentary I check, I watch, no one's checked the shed. She was in the shed for 30 years. And I'm like, you guys have a shed? What part of the world are you in that there's a shed? I feel like that's a very specific structure to have on your land, on your property. I feel like everyone's shed should be checked. Just for checks and balances of bodies, if you will. So I'm here in Raleigh, Cary, Morrisville, North Carolina, where the people are amazing. Everyone is so kind and polite and generous. They talk to one another. They say hello. And then I realize I have to get out of Los Angeles if I think that this is a surprise. It's beautiful. The weather's nice. I am looking forward to getting back to my pups. There is something hilarious that happened at my show last night, and we'll get into that. I'll tell you at the end of the podcast what this woman said to me. I just can't believe the exchange we had from stage. It was insane. But I am here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm also going to be in, let me check. I'm going to be in Rochester. No, I was just in Rochester. I'm not going to be in Rochester. Okay. Matter of fact, left Rochester. Was already in Rochester, and we had a great time. We really did. We had a blast. So it won't be in Rochester. I'm going to be in Syracuse again. I'm going to be in Syracuse again. I travel all over the place, and I forget where I've been, where I'm going. I'm going to be in Syracuse, New York, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That's the Funny Bone. Hello. Every year, I either do the Wednesday before Thanksgiving or New Year's Eve, which was something we've done the past few years. But for now, I'm doing the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. For me, that feels more special. Come check it out, Syracuse Funny Bone. But the week before that, I'm going to be in Omaha, Nebraska. That's right. Omaha, Nebraska, the 22nd and 23rd at the Funny Bone in Omaha, Nebraska. So that will be a blast. I love it there. I probably will do the Tyler and Todd Empire radio show. I'm assuming I'll go. Comedians have to fly into a city, and then at 6 o'clock in the morning the next day, we get picked up to go do radio for 6 people. Because that's something that we're still doing. We hang on to some traditions. I'm all about hanging on to some traditions, to be honest. I like traditions. I like them. I really enjoy there to be consistency in some aspects of life. And there's a few things I want to talk to you guys about, but one thing I realized, someone told me I was a good listener recently. And that made me think about what that means as a friend. It's important to be a good listener, but I also felt that I could be taken advantage of. Because the fact that I'm a good listener could mean that people feel implored to tell me more about themselves. Is implored a word? Because sometimes words come out of my mouth and I don't know where they come from. Implored just flew out of my mouth. Let's see. Implored. What's the meaning? Call upon in supplication, entreat. I implore you to stop. Okay. Beg. Probably used it wrong. Anyways, people sometimes feel the need to tell me everything because I'm a good listener. Just because I'm a good listener doesn't mean that I should have to listen to your crap all day long. So let's put a boundary around being a good listener. Yes, I'm a good listener, but it does come with a condition. It comes with a condition, and that condition is I don't want to listen to what you have to say. I don't want to listen to what you have to say. It's exhausting. Some people are so exhausting, aren't they? I'm trying to get cozy here in this weird seat. I know people probably have done inappropriate things on this ottoman. Why am I sitting on this? I don't like being in hotel rooms. Okay, I need you guys to be a good listener. All of you guys are good listeners. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe to my YouTube page. hit subscribe, like the video that we're playing right now, hit a little thumbs up for me and subscribe to my channel. It helps us out so much, helps me grow the podcast. And the podcast is evolving, as you guys know. We are involving new guests and evolving into Dying Laughing with Jessimae. That's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. You don't have to do anything different. I'll still be in your ear. You'll barely notice a difference. Actually, the difference you'll notice is that you'll enjoy it more. I'll have interesting guests and conversations that I think will attract and be more attractive to you guys in the future. So I'm excited. I'll be able to talk to various people of interest for me and for you. So that's coming up. And also don't forget to rate the pod. If you're listening to it, give us 5 stars and leave me a little review. Do we have any new reviews? Let's see if we have any new reviews on the Apple app. That's where you can do it, is on Apple. You can go all the way. You scroll down, if you will. You scroll down and you can write a little something. You know, sometimes people leave a little review. Let's see. This is an older one. Keep up the great work. We're similar in age, and I really enjoy the friendship and mentor I feel that I have in Jessimae. She's truly a girly's girl, everyone's bestie or sister. I love JM. She's hilarious and relatable. I've read all these before. I need some new ones, guys. Come through. This is one of my favorite ones. I don't even know if it's real. As a gay semi-truck driver in the Midwest, I need all the comedy I can get to deal with these fools on the road. Rob. Shout out to Rob. I've read a few of those before. I need some new ones. So you guys rate the podcast. And if you want to listen to Sharp Tongue, which will continue forever for the most part, go to my Patreon page. You subscribe to my Patreon and you can listen to all the Sharp Tongue podcast episodes there. And new ones will continue to be posted there as well. So everyone listening, you won't notice a difference, but there'll be a little bit better of a podcast coming in the next couple weeks with my first guest, John Stamos. That's why I'm wearing the shirt. The listeners can't see it. The viewers are probably like, what is she wearing? I think my assistant had this made for me. I could be wrong. I think this is a Debbie special. If lost, please return to John Stamos. Well, we're going to be able to return to John Stamos personally. He'll be on the podcast in mid-November, kicking off the new evolution of Sharp Tongue, Dying Laughing with Jessimae. And it will be an amazing conversation. I can't believe that I'm actually going to be sitting down with everyone's favorite uncle. Dying Laughing with Jessimae coming up. It's all coming to fruition, full freaking circle. And don't forget to come see me live, you guys. Come see me live. I told you a few of the places I'll be, and a portion of my ticket sales and of my merch sales are going to go towards Hilarity for Charity and Alzheimer's Association, the SoCal chapter. Hilarity for Charity is a really important charity. It's Seth Rogen and Lauren Miller Rogen's charity. I've done some work with them and they are amazing. The foundation's amazing. They actually raise funds for caregivers. And November is National Caregivers Month. So if anybody out there listening is a caregiver for their loved one or works as a caregiver, maybe a nighttime nurse, hospice nurse, any one of those jobs, very difficult. But if you're a family member dealing with a loved one who has dementia or Alzheimer's, caregiving gets really expensive. It gets so expensive. So know that you're not alone. Check out Hilarity for Charity. They have a lot of resources and information for you. So just know by supporting me, you're supporting a good cause. So thank you guys ahead of time for helping me out, and come see me live. It's a great time. You'll have a fantastic time. I guarantee it. No money back guarantee, because I don't need to give you a money back guarantee because I believe in the product. Speaking of product, all of my friends are producing babies. The ultimate human product. Every person I know. And, well, not every person, but I can actually say that. All of my closest girlfriends, including one of my closest family members, are with child or have given birth recently. And so it's put me in this interesting place. I realize, do I have mom FOMO? It's like fear of momming out. Like, what if I opt out of being a mom? Am I going to miss out on that? So I know that there's fear of missing out in general, but I have a fear of missing out on motherhood. So it's like FOMO. Fear of missing out on motherhood. Mo-moo. Moo-ha. FOMO. That's what I have. I have FOMO. Because I don't know what I want to do. And it's a very personal conversation, obviously. And there's a lot of probably, debatable ways you could debate either way, it being better. not having kids or having kids. I'm sure that there are studies that show people who don't have kids, women my age who end up not having children, live a very happy lifestyle and have a very long, fruitful life. And I'm sure the people who have children live a very happy lifestyle and a very long, fruitful life. But you could also say the same. You could be missing out in one way or the other. You have kids, you miss out on having this very adventurous single life where you have freedom and you're able to travel and leave at the drop of a dime and you can go and explore the world. I can do that to a certain degree. I have 3 children at home that are in need of my care and love. Those are my fur babies. They walk on all 4s and I consider them my children. So I have freedom to a certain degree. I am able to travel very easily. I love when people who don't have dogs, they're like, I could never get dogs. I'm way too busy. And I look at them like, really? You're way too busy? You're way too busy? Okay. I have 3 dogs, a podcast career, a stand-up comedy career. I'm writing a book. I wrote a movie. I'm working on all this other stuff. But yeah, you're too busy. Just say it. You don't want dogs. Don't say you're too busy. Enough with the excuses. You make time for the things that really matter to you, regardless. I mean, look at I was just going to say actual moms, but yes, women who give birth to human children, otherwise known as demons. Look at how busy they are. My sister's social calendar. First of all, anyone who's in my sister's life, you consider yourself lucky. The fact that this girl is able to juggle what she juggles is no less than miraculous. She has so many friends. She keeps up with all of their lives, makes time for them. I was home for 4 days. I saw 62 people. It was unbelievable. And everyone loves her. So there's a skill. You can just say you don't want the dogs, okay? But I am feeling this like FOMO. You know, I know people have FOMO. We have FOMO in our regular lives. And it's mainly due to the fact that we're constantly on our phones and looking ironically at the pictures of other people's lives and comparing them to our own lives against the landscape of the way we were living. Everything seems a little dire in our lives when we compare. I love that quote, comparison is the thief of joy. It truly is. And I realize I'm doing a level of that right now, kind of comparing my life to my friends who are pregnant or who have children. But as a woman, it feels like what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have babies. I mean, we have a womb. The womb, I'm not storing stuff up there. You know, it's not like a cache where I can put my knickknacks. Although it would be fun to have an extra bag, not have to, use a purse every single time. If I really don't want to have children, I don't see why I can't use my vag as a bag. I'm only saying. But these people that we're comparing ourselves to, they're even putting filters on their babies online. No one's happy. Put your phone down. Come on. Put your phone down and get outside. Stop comparing yourself to other people in general. But as a woman, I'm comparing myself to other women who have children. And it's a little bit different because I feel that calling. Not that I feel like I want to be a mom, but I do feel like, what if I'm not a mom? Am I going to miss out on it? Am I going to miss not breastfeeding? God, the things that happen to women's bodies when they're pregnant and then going through labor and then having to take care of kids, it is amazing, but also horrifying. Horrifying. My sister's nipples grew 4 inches. And I says, oh, whoa. Is that normal? That's what I would say every time my body started to change as a pregnant woman. Is that normal? Someone's belly button looked like a baby was coming out of it. You ever see like when the belly button distends and then they get like a herniated belly button when they're pregnant? It's like the baby's coming out of the wrong hole. I don't want that type of responsibility. So I'm only saying I'm having these questions and these thoughts. I want to hear from the non-moms out there who have intentionally chosen to not have babies. How are you feeling? Do you still have that FOMO, fear of missing out on motherhood? So it's FOMOOH. FOMO. Let me know if there's any moms out there who have FOMO. FOMO. And let me know what that feels like. And if there are women out there who chose to have children, are you missing out on the single life? Are you missing out on the adventurous independence that you could have? The grass is greener, but the dirt is the same. So I'm curious to hear from you guys. And speaking of that, we have a Maybay's mail follow-up from the Fake It Till You Make It episode. A fan followed up on that because I asked a question. I asked a question of the listeners, as I often do, because I'm curious and I want to know what you're doing in your life to make it all work. I asked a question. Let's see. The response is from Kevin. In response to your question, I asked people if they're off of social media and how that's going for them. He said, I'm roughly 3 years removed from social media. And the short answer is, while life invariably gets harder regardless, my personal headspace and general wellness is worlds better without it than with it. Not even close. The long answer. I once read a study that in the advent of social media and the access to so much information matched with the ability to publicly react was an evolutionary step we hadn't yet hit. That's the big problem. It's like all of this information that we're getting, we're not meant to process, and then we're reacting to information we don't know or quite understand how to process. So that's interesting. As a species, we're all ill-equipped to handle it, and it's clearly been proven correct. It is indeed an addiction, and it's very weird initially because you have to reconcile with the fact you will be on an island. I would imagine that. You're not on social media. You're alone in the woods. You have to move to the woods if you get off of social media. You will lose contact with people. You'll be out of touch with trends. But if you can stick it out, and the clarity you gain outweighs those things. Plus, the important people and things will always just find you. There's a natural focus that comes back to you. I'm old enough to remember life before social media, and it's crazy how quickly you forget how much simpler it was. The desire to be seen and heard and the dopamine that comes from that goes away, and you start minding your own goddamn business. So we all still turn into Clint Eastwood, it sounds like. And you remember that when you go outside with other people, they are just people, not some faceless piece of shit that said something about Taylor Swift shoes that you didn't like, so you try to get him fired from his job. It's a good point. Just because you don't like somebody, everyone's trying to wreak havoc in people's lives. We have to normalize having difference of opinions and differing views. Isn't that what makes everything so much more fun and interesting? Almost nothing happens on the internet that happens in real life. That's a great point. Almost nothing that happens on the internet happens in real life. I second that emotion. And if it does bother you, you probably brought it on yourself. I also agree with that. Motherfuckers out here tripping on their cap on some good day, sir. And you got your head up your own ass trying to get a selfie in front of something thousands of others have already done. It's really important. The really important stuff gets elevated and the rest just washes away. I found a new calmness living in slow-moving apocalypse. My world got smaller and my heart got bigger. But that's just my experience, and I've never mattered less in the grand scheme of things, but I've never been happier about that. Good day, Madam Kevin. Thank you, Kevin, for sharing, and a lot of interesting little nuggets of wisdom in there as well. I do agree. Nothing that happens in social media happens in life. It's all made up. Even the way the babies look. Like I said, there's filters on children. So maybe I have to stop looking to social media to indicate whether I should or should not become a mom and stick with my gut feeling. And the gut feeling is it looks challenging. We've got another Maybay mail titled Stuff from James. Dear Jessimae, so I was walking home on Saturday night and I decided to stop by a 7-Eleven for some snacks. Great choice. Endless possibilities. You know, as I do, they do not have ice cream cone, and so I considered Ben & Jerry's, but nothing really stood out to me. I really want an ice cream cone right now that you said that. I was thinking about Ben & Jerry's should do one of those for Diddy. Something Fruit Loop flavored. Diddy Do It or something like that. Thoughts? Love Seamus. Oh, this is Seamus, who messages sometimes on the YouTube and various social media platforms. Do we need a P. Diddy Ben & Jerry flavor? As long as it indicates the name and the whatever we call the ice cream indicates that he is a monster. Maybe Monster Mash? Maybe Monster Mash and Bits? Did he do it? Yes, he did. I think Diddy did it. Diddy did it bits and chunks of chocolate. with extra virgin olive oil. Oh gosh, there is a flavor at Salt and Straw, which is this overpriced ice cream parlor in LA. It's really delicious though. And they have olive oil flavored ice cream. And I am such a Sicilian that it is delicious. But I say that because of the baby oil scandal associated with P. Diddy. The only way that this would make sense if Ben and Jerry's did it and said Diddy did it, chunks and bits of chocolate, whatever you want to call it, is if proceeds went to all the victims, everyone involved. So I'm here for it, Seamus. I'm here for that. I just don't know if we need to bring any more attention to Mr. Diddy. That's how I feel. So before we go any further, I want to tell you guys a little bit about my travel tips. We'll call it Jessimae's travel tips. I travel a lot and I like to be in and out. I like to be quick. I like to be efficient. I need everything to run smoothly because I'm usually running late. So it's really important for things to flow, if you will, while I'm on the road. And let's be real, you have to make time for those moments where things are just gonna not go your way. That happens all the time. It happens all the time. I went to the car rental place in Syracuse, New York. Apparently, Syracuse is a booming city now. I was there for an hour, waiting for an hour. I used to be able to, if you flew out of Syracuse, if your flight was at 6 p.m., you could show up at 5:21 p.m. and still make it to the plane. Now you actually have to make it there early. And it was wild to me. But regardless, I always have these little tips and tricks when I'm traveling. And these are some of my favorite things to carry with me on a plane or on my bag, on my person when I'm on a road trip, on a plane, trains, automobiles, all of that. Something that a bag where you might need to take with you for a couple nights. One thing you need to have is gum, because a lot of you have hot breath, especially on an airplane. I don't know if it's about the pressurized air. I don't know what it is. Everyone's exhausted. No one's taking naps at home, so they're all saving their nap time for the plane. So everybody falls asleep. Their mouths are wide open, and it's hot breath central. Please bring gum for the rest of us. Please keep your breath fresh. First and foremost, it's all about your neighbors. So a couple do's and don'ts. Do bring gum. Don't eat tuna on a plane. I realize that that's not my travel tip, but it is a tip. It's not like a little item I bring along, but it's a little, we'll consider the tip my item. Don't eat tuna on a plane. Don't eat tuna. Don't eat anything fishy. Nothing that is fragrant. It's just rude. And don't clip your toenails. I've seen people clip their toenails on a plane. It's like you guys get on the plane and you act like children that are visiting their mom. You know, when you come back from college and you bring your dirty laundry, this is not okay. No tuna on the plane. No cleaning your toenails. Bring gum. Another thing, because I'm not a germaphobe, we learned that germs are everywhere and people are gross. This is another reason why I don't know if I want to be a mom. Babies are gross. Kids are gross. Their fingers are inside of places they shouldn't be all day long on themselves and other kids. I've witnessed it. I spent Halloween in my niece and nephew's school. I was in a hazmat suit. That's how I got around that. That was my loophole. That was my hanging around children loophole. Happy Halloween. I'm in a hazmat suit. Little did they know it was standard. Okay? It was up to code. I didn't get this thing at Party City. I went to the Pentagon and picked this baby up. I'm not going to get whatever amoebas or Legionnaire's disease is whiffing around this room. Happy Halloween. This Dr. Bronner's peppermint hand sanitizer is the greatest. Let me preface this by none of these are sponsoring me. There's only one product that I'm partnered with, and you guys already know that. And it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. Anything else that I'm mentioning is just something that I actually use and enjoy. Dr. Bronner's peppermint hand sanitizer. You can't piss anyone off with this. It smells so good. So if you're on the plane, there's a little tuna hanging around, a little tuna in the air, spray some of that. Also, Purell Personnels. They're probably terrible for the environment because they're all single-use plastic cartridges, these teeny little cartridges. But they're great for quick. You know, who knows? You touch something, there was a color, something was brown. We're not going to play the game of was it chocolate or was it poop? We don't have time. Get your little Purell Personals. Peluso's Purell. I should make my own. Peluso's Personals. Advanced hand sanitizer. 18 portable packets. You got to get these things and then you're ready to go. Throw a couple in your purse. Throw a couple in your bag. Let's see what else I have here. Also, as a woman, I always wondered, why did my mom have tissues in her bag? My mom always had tissues in her purse. So did my grandma. And I was like, this is such an old lady thing. I don't care if it is. I always have tissues in my car, have them in my purse. And the dudes listening, listen up. Okay, you don't have to carry a purse, but put some of the stuff in the car, especially if you have a lady in your life or whatever you do with yourself. They'd be impressed. You never know when something's going to spill or if somebody needs one. I'm out here living my single, independent, free life. Single meaning not having children. Out here just independent, rolling around, and there's a mom whose baby threw up on her. I'm going to help assist out. I'm going to give her a couple of my tissues, maybe even the whole bag if she wasn't rude. Another thing, this is one I got from Italy. It's Biochitasi. It is basically Alka-Seltzer. I always bring some sort of ginger candy, Alka-Seltzer, mint tea. All those help with indigestion. And when you travel, that's when indigestion and gut rot can kick in. My sister and I always joke about gut rot, but that is a real thing. And eating foods in different places, even in North Kakalaki, could crack you up from the gut up. So bring a little, just some sort of Alka-Seltzer. Makes you feel better fast. Now, this is a real 80-year-old tip. And I'll write these in the show notes too, and with links to the items that I use so you guys can check them out. I travel with a crossword book. Yeah, I was born to be 80. I realize that. 80 for Brady right here. I realize it, okay? Born and ready. And I bring a crossword. You never know. Bring a crossword and bring a book everywhere. It helps you not be on your phone. Boredom is a tough thing to combat, especially now with instant gratification on our phones. We can grab our phone and we get those dopamine hits, and it's ruining our brain. We all know that. So one way to combat it is to at least have other options. I don't mind sitting in boredom and letting my mind wander. I enjoy it sometimes. Other times I'm doom scrolling, and then I have to stop myself. So I'm going to look like an 80-year-old. I don't care. With my crossword book, I was reading John Stamos' book and laughing on the plane. I don't care what people think of me. I'm out here hanging on to the 7 brain cells I have left from COVID. And if crossword's going to help me hang on to them, God bless me. Another little tip and trick, Jessimae's travel tips, is I bring a little talisman, something from home that either reminds me of my mom, my sister, my family, my man. A lot of the clothes I travel with are either items that someone has given me, someone in my life that's special. My assistant, Deb, I believe she gave me the shirt. If she didn't, I'm a jerk. But I usually will have something from my mother, from my man, from my sister with me. And I like to be intentional that way. Maybe it's annoying. I don't care. I don't have crystals with me right now. You're welcome. Not to say I haven't traveled with them. I probably get stopped by the TSA in North Carolina if I had some quartz with me. They probably would think it was crystal meth and I'd be thrown in jail with my luck. But this little guy, this little ghost was in my shoe. Scared the crap out of me because it's gummy. It's like this bouncy, gross, jiggly texture. And it was in the tip of my shoe. And I thought it was a dang dead mouse. And I screamed. And then I called Karina, my niece, and I said, "Did you put this in my shoe?" This little girl, did I keep the voice note? Oh my God. So funny. Because I thought for sure she was scamming me. These kids always scam me. I thought for sure they were scamming me. So this is what she says.
"Oopsie, that's mine. I didn't put it in your shoe. I think it fell into your shoe from the counter. It was from my Halloween party from school." So
this girl, I'm supposed to believe now that it just fell off the counter into my shoe. I'm keeping it forever. I'm keeping it.
"I'm sorry that it fell in your shoe. Next time you come, can you bring it back, please?"
Nope, it's mine. You snooze, you lose. This is where I come in as the aunt. So sorry. Okay? No. Take better care of your stuff.
"Okay, Miss Jessie Peluso, you better bring it back, or else you're busted. And just so you know, guess what? I got more dye to dye my hair.
Oh.
I'm gonna love it. So I'll tell you that I'm gonna love the dye that I got. It's really fun, and I love it so much. You better come back. When are you coming back?
Oh, that's why I played it to the end. Are you kidding me? All that? You want to listen to that all day long? Kids are so annoying, but then they say something so sweet and you're gutted. You're like, damn it, should I have one of you? So this little talisman, I better not lose it. I will bring it back for her. I mean, she's never going to get it back completely. I'll bring it back and show her I have it, but I'm keeping it because that's the type of aunt I am. Tough love, baby. But I always bring a little something to remind me of home. And I heard this from another comedian. When you're in a hotel room and you got the remote, some hotel rooms will have the plastic around the cups, like the to-go coffee mugs. I rip that off and I put it around the remote, so I'm not touching the quote-unquote antimicrobial remote. I'm sure there's things on this remote I don't want to touch. So that's a little fun tidbit, Jessimae's travel tip. And then the other thing I want to tell you before we get into me telling you what this woman said from the stage, which is so crazy, is this is also something that makes me an 8-year-old woman. I have this bag, a big old plastic bag. I know we're not supposed to use them, but the earth is going to be fine. As George Carlin said, she's going to shake us off like fleas. We're all the ones that are suffering from global warming and everything that's happening from the excess plastic and single-use packages. What are we going to do? It's too late. I'm trying my best. If somebody would like to weave me a burlap sack to travel with, I would gladly use it. I have this snack pack that I bring. I always have food with me because I can't stand airplane food. I don't want to pay $45 for a crappy stale sandwich. Nothing pisses me off than wasting carbs on a stale sandwich. How dare you? You give me a stale sandwich. I love carbs and I'm wasting them on this crusty thing. My bicuspid went flying across the room. So I have this bag and I put in mixed nuts, these bars, a couple of those like Go Macro bars I enjoy. I also will go into the Delta Lounge and steal their tea. I did some math, okay? And bringing tea bags with me everywhere saves me hundreds of dollars every year because I drink tea every day, 1 or 2 packets of tea a day. It's either I have a peppermint every day and a green tea every day for the most part. And in order to keep up that addicted habit, I got to get some. So I'll go into the Delta Lounge and peel off a couple for myself. Just a couple. I'm not out here grabbing the whole case. I will dump a case into a bag a time or two, allegedly. But a girl's got to stay. You got to keep the stash alive. I have tea. So, things. This is what happens when you travel so much. You have to find ways to cut costs. And the next tip after this I'll share with you is another way to save money. But in this snack pack, I will put my nuts, my tea, a couple electrolyte packets. I found this new electrolyte brand that I enjoy, Electro Pure Hydration, right off of Amazon. I'll put that link in the show notes. I'm never without a Chomps. Love a Chomps. If I find out there's listeria in my turkey chomps, I'm going to walk into the ocean. I'm going to be pissed because I live off of these bad boys. I don't know what's in them, but it says grass-fed and finished beef. Sounds very fancy. 0 sugar, all this stick without the ick. I love a slogan. I'm a sucker for a slogan. I created a slogan for North Carolina last night, actually. I said, we got guns and buns. Actually, it should be Buns and Guns. We got Buns and Guns. Because they have an open carry, not concealed gun law here, and I thought that was funny. You guys could just walk around with a gun hanging off your hip. And I wanted to be here in the morning, just go out in my pajamas and have a shotgun around my hip. Say hello to the neighbors. It's gorgeous out, isn't it, Mary? And I'm out there with an open carry. They call me Open Carry Mary here in North Kakalaki. So I've got tea, macro bars, Go Macro bars. I've got some turkey jerky, nuts. I will have my electrolyte packets because you never know. You might get a little dehydrated on the plane on travel. My little feel-free bottles, 3 fluid ounces. For me, I just like a half of this bottle. Throw it back. I feel great. I had some before my show last night, running around all day long, waking up early, packing, going to the airport. I went to the wrong hotel when I landed here in North Carolina, so I had to go another 20 miles, run into the hotel, get ready, get all my merch, run to the show. threw back half a bottle of my delicious Feel Free, ready to tell jokes to the North Kakalakians. I don't even know if that's what you call yourselves here, but that's what I referred to you as last night. So that's one of my tips, a little snack pack. Oh, and I also travel with oil of oregano, which is horrific. I don't know if anyone's ever tried it. It's one of these more holistic approaches to combating what I call amoebas. It's not the correct term, but germs and bacteria. And oil of oregano is known to have antibacterial effects and anti-inflammatory effects on your body. You only want a couple drops. I recommend, people say to put it into whatever you're drinking. I don't recommend that because then that tastes like oil of oregano. What I recommend is you drip it under your tongue and then eat something like peanut butter or something that's got like a fatty sweetness to it to get rid of that. Or a little bit of oregano and extra virgin olive oil, or screw it all and get the bacteria and live your life. You don't have to be as anal retentive as I am. It's probably a much happier way to live. But judging by my trips, my travel trips and snacks and tips, I think I could be and would be a great mom. Just saying. And the other tip I have to traveling, bring your own water bottle. As annoying as it might be, do you know how much water is in the airport? It's like $7. And it's not that good. It's coming in plastic. No, we got microplastics are floating around inside of me. I can't deal with it. There's too many things to think about. So you got to get it in where you can fit it in. You've got to figure out how to optimize your health in your own way. So I've got the water bottle ready to go. I fill it up whenever I can. I do go in the Delta Lounge and steal lemon slices. That's right. I go in the Delta Lounge. I steal lemon slices. I toss it in my water bottle and I'm good to go. And I'll put the links of all my favorite items in the show notes. And I'll also look forward to your emails of people who've decided to not have children and how much sleep you're getting. Okay? And before we go, I wanted to tell you, I did a show here last night. I've had so much fun. I have 2 more shows tonight. Don't forget to come see me in Omaha, Nebraska. I was having a great time. And this woman's phone alarm goes off in the middle of my set. I'm having a great time. We're telling jokes. This alarm goes off, and I say, what is going on, miss? What is that alarm? Shut your diabetes alarm off. As a joke, they start howling in laughter, these 4 women. And I said, get your birth control meds, take them before you forget. And they're dying and they're dying. And I said, who called? What was the phone? And the girl screams, it was her diabetes alarm. This woman's phone interrupting the show was actually her diabetes alarm. And I was just joking. And I said, I am a witch. I didn't even know people set alarms for diabetes medication. I knew they set alarms for various things. I thought it was a phone call. Turns out her diabetes medication was calling her. Ring, ring, answer the phone. Shout out to my girl, Mrs. Robinson. I think it was Lauren Robinson. She was so much fun with her and her girlfriends. I called them the Diabetes Divas. They came out and had a good time. You guys have to come out and have a good time. Come see my show. Don't forget, soon, Stamos is going to be on the podcast as Dying Laughing with Jessimae is becoming this new venture in this space here that we guys, that we're sharing together on this podcast. We guys, I don't even know what that was. That's not even a real phrase. I'm so excited to have him on the show, and that's coming up in a couple weeks. And I'm beyond excited. I really am. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. I wanted to get on and say hi real quick and share you some of my travel tips and look to you for some guidance. Who out there is living a life happy without children? Who out there has children and says, F that? Keep your dogs. Keep your free time. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you soon.